Could our biggest mouthpiece, our biggest person out there in the media, be in trouble at his job at ESPN? Well, we better hope not.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, babies. Appreciate you guys so much for joining in for a late night episode. Paul After Dark. It's been a little while since we've done a true Paul After Dark post 10 o'clock. So thanks for joining in for this. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Not alone. Decided to bring somebody on for some after dark talking. He had absolutely no clue what we were going to talk about until I informed him, and that's how we like to do things around here with Troy, the offensive coordinator of Marshall University.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. Paul After Dark, man. Let's get it rolling, man. I'm a night owl anyway. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, appreciate it. Tried to get him to come on with me yesterday, guys. He refused, by the way. He was like, nope, don't even want to come on to talk about the basketball.
That doesn't sound like me. You're right, though. I kind of did.
You did. You refused me.
Hanging a little bit.
Hey, Doris. Good to see you, hon.
We'll
From
talk
Dingus, West Virginia. That's my hometown. All right. So, obviously, this is a bit of a different kind of episode. We're going to dive into a few things, though. Did the football team get its hard edge back? I think that's a good question. They looked like it against TCU at times, didn't they? What is Troy's thoughts on the exhibition from yesterday? Was there something to be worried about there, or was it just they were vanilla? They weren't really showing much. We'll find out what he says about that. Before we get into all that, though, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that comment button. It's not a button. Comment underneath the video so that I can keep my job and keep bringing Troy on here. Let's dive in, though. Obviously, Pat McAfee is a staple is not even the right wording for it. I think he's just, at this point, interchangeable with the culture in this era of West Virginia media. And on the spectrum, he's definitely up there with Rich Rodriguez as far as not only visibility in West Virginia brand, but also impact, I think, and maybe even more so in some cases because of his overall power, reach, voice, and ability as a guy, right? So I'm going to go on for a minute here, then I'm going to let Troy go. But, his journey obviously kicked off in 2019 when he was doing Thursday Night College Football as an analyst. But then he joined, then he kind of worked his way through, had his own podcast. Finally, he joined GameDay in September 2022. That's when the Pat McAfee Show had this blockbuster deal, $85 million over 5 years in May of 23. So things have been great on that front. He's made a lot of money. He's obviously very famous. That's not even including the WWE stuff. And since then, it's kind of been a highlight reel of there's been beefs, there's been apologies, there's been viral moments, and everything in between, because he's such an emotional person. And I love that about him. I am too. So I'm going to go over a litany of things here that have happened. Try to make it quick. I've just got a little thing that I wrote beside each thing. But obviously the Larry Nassar tweet, which was in 2023, where he told Michigan State's fan to a Michigan State fan's post, kind of joked about the disgraced gymnast doctor who abused hundreds, if you'll remember. The tweet went viral for kind of being insensitive, right? ESPN stayed silent. It's still online there. But I think people thought, okay, this guy's a little unfiltered, right? Then whenever they went on ESPN and ESPN Plus, you've seen reporting come out of him being a disruptor, if you will, of things around ESPN. There was the Norby Williamson rant where amid Aaron Rodgers, his weekly spots on the show there. He was talking about Jimmy Kimmel it being on the Epstein list, which has kind of sparked some outrage. Obviously he goes nuclear about this on air, accusing ESPN executive Norby Williamson of sabotaging his show by leaking fake low ratings to the press, called him a rat, called him a weasel. I mean, that's a 40-year ESPN veteran right there who left in April 24. So it sounds like they picked McAfee. Obviously, McAfee faced no punishment as well for this. Kind of a power shift happening at the network. I am not saying that anything bad about McAfee. I'm just reporting what happened, okay? This is what happened. There was the Aaron Rodgers fallout. After, obviously Rodgers had the Epstein-Kimmel jab, which kind of led to threats of lawsuit. So McAfee pays Rodgers. Then it came out that he paid Rodgers 7 figures for his appearances. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation about this. ESPN called it dumb and factually inaccurate, but they backed McAfee on this. And he took he took a little sabbatical at that point in time, if you'll remember, Rodgers. And then he's come back periodically. And it kind of highlights to how he still views him as his guy. There was the Caitlin Clark White BITCH comments, where where she, I don't know how you can hate Caitlin Clark, quote, she's the white blank leading the Indiana Fever. He called some backlash for that. There was the Emmy scandal jab. There's a WWE deal. There's the Ole Miss student rumor, if you will, where Mary Kate Cornett, he kind of reported it was inaccurate. It turned out not to be true. But at one time, there was Mary Kate Cornett, the Ole Miss cheerleader, where it said she had hooked up with NFL prospects, and it went viral. And also that she hooked up with her boyfriend's dad, I believe it was. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. But that's what it was. Yeah. So obviously it turned out that wasn't true and it didn't happen. And he had to come back and apologize for that. Recently, on October 21st, there was a collage of hate comments from old white people on ESPN, he said, which the GameDay producers included, as a matter of fact. He said, blank quote, who hate me the most. And he said, obviously it's been a fun run, but there are a ton of people who hate me, basically, which kind of sparked this article that's been written now. Now we're finally here, where there's basically saying that Pat is really battling it out with some ESPN producers. And these are quotes from these people. It's totally unnecessary. Go up and talk to these people, talk to us to make it better. You're not a victim. Everyone is bending over backwards, puts you in the spotlight. These same people are incentivized for you to succeed, and that you go online and bash them. Another one was kind of more blunt and said that he acts like it entitled diva. And then the people in his defense said, look, he's a creative force. He's pushed really hard to advance game day, and his impact has been enormous. That's what Magnus, the president of ESPN, said. Since he joined Game Day, as well as his own daily show, they've experienced unprecedented success. He's an innovator, and when you have someone who disrupts the status quo, it's not surprising when there's friction or disagreement as a result. Now to you, Troy. Curious what your take is in all this.
Well, I love that last quote you just read, because I think that just takes the words out of my mouth, because Pat McAfee's in the spotlight. Make no mistake about it. He is a shining, bright star right now, a rising star even still. It seems like he keeps, hitting milestones for his career. And he is who he is. And what I appreciate about Pat, obviously, one, the rep that he puts on for West Virginia, as you mentioned. I mean, I think of that, the image Pat McAfee gives, and I think of Tavon Austin's recruiting highlight tape, man, where that has millions and millions of views. I think of that as just huge things for kids that don't know a whole lot about WVU as high schoolers. They know about Pat McAfee and they know about Tavon Austin's highlight. Every high school recruit in America has seen Tavon Austin's film. But with McAfee, when you sign them to contracts and you give them a TV show and you bring them on game day, you know exactly what you're getting. And I think even the ESPN president right there, like, he goes against the grain. He's different. He dresses different, talks different, acts different. You bring him onto game day, he does things a little different, makes even the guys on set a little uncomfortable probably too. But it gets results. And
look at the change in Nick Saban over this course of time.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Nick
so fun to watch
Saban's gone from stoic to dancing with him.
Yeah.
Right? Because here's the thing. Here's my opinion. This is my opinion. Have you ever seen somebody that's real happy and it makes people around them mad for no other reason than it just aggravates them? Some people are innately just a little sourpuss. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Somebody like Pat, who is almost always happy, that probably doesn't deal with, and I'm just speculating here, I'm sure he has some, but not everybody has depression. Not everybody has these things that pull them down mentally and things. Some people have great mental health, right? Not everybody has bad mental health. Everybody has bad days, right? But everybody, it's like in recovery, we say, don't have a bad day, just have a bad moment, right? And try to figure out how to get through that. I feel like Pat's one of those people. He just has bad moments, not bad days. Yep. Bad weeks. He just moves on to the next thing. At this point in his life, obviously, he's not at risk of losing his financial life, right? He's set for life, and his kids are probably set at this point. So there is an aspect of this where he's kind of like a made man in the sense that there's not a whole lot you can take from him. At this point, if all of that went away, he could just start another podcast, or like, I don't know if ESPN keeps the right to it now or what happens if he gets it back. But even if all that happened, he could start another one and he would have 6 figures subscribers by the next day.
Yeah.
Like, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Somebody put a comment on here I want to read. Too much of good thing turns into a bad thing. McAfee in small doses is great. Every day is like a kick in the face with a golf shoe. I agree and disagree with you. I think, yes, too much of a good thing is bad. And yes, he is out there a lot in the public spectrum space, but you have the choice to scroll or click off of this.
Yep.
So those of us that enjoy a large dose of this don't mind the golf shoe. I like golf. And in all seriousness though, your point's valid and well taken. I'm just saying that, I don't feel like
who you are.
Depends on who you are. And like, I think people were talking about on game day, he's more forced down our throats on like game day, ESPN programming, that kind of thing. Maybe. I know there are some people that probably, I'll just keep it real. I've had a lot of people that are more, probably lean a little bit more left, that don't like him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of what he stands for, or if he's not, because I've never seen him promote any Trump or anything like. I've never seen him talk about politics at all.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why this large swath of people don't like him, but they don't. I actually have a coworker that is that way, that doesn't like him either. So I don't know exactly what it is about that. I don't know. Just a point, and I could be totally wrong about it as well. But for the most part, I think he's a positive force for good. But what I want to get into here is, after the break, my question to you is this, Troy, and don't answer it yet. Do we need Pat in this position for West Virginia? Is it big for us for him to be where he is? We'll talk about that next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Game Time. And look, when it comes to Game Time, we already know college football is back, and I couldn't be more excited about that. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, nothing quite like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel a little bit more like the battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see, what you pay. I actually pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as 25 buckaroos. That's pretty good stuff. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets for yourself today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase, where the terms do apply. But you can create that account, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, for $20 off today. And you too can swipe, tap, ticket, go download Game Time today, and you'll answer the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. Segment 2, I'm going to crack an armor do. Body armor do.
There you go.
So you heard the question, man.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase it a little better. Do we need Pat McAfee in the roles that he is in on game day? Obviously, I think he's always going to have his podcast. So set that to the side because I don't think they can take that from him. Do we need him on game day for West Virginia? Is it important for him to be on game day? Obviously, he's the voice first just yesterday on game day. And it was more negative. So he can have a negative impact on us too.
Yeah. No, I think we need him. I think we do. I think he's vital. I think he's important. Now, obviously, it's hard to know, with things like that. And, I mentioned the Tavon Austin millions and millions of views highlight reel that, we don't fully know the impact that it has. And even with Pat, we don't fully know the impact that it has, but I believe there is an impact. And I believe it's an impact for good. So I think we benefit from him being on game day. We benefit from him being so vocal as a West Virginia, former player and big on Rich Rod and the movement there. And, even, to backtrack just for a second, with Pat McAfee and as, again, his personality, whatever people dislike about him, I think a lot of people tend to run from the fact that he's incredibly gifted. Regardless of what you say about his personality, he's very talented. He knows his stuff, extremely knowledgeable, and it might come out in a way you don't like it. He might wear something you don't like. He might, be vocal, be too loud for you, whatever it is. But the guy really knows his stuff across the landscape of sports. So I appreciate McAfee. I appreciate what he does for WVU.
Yeah. I'm asking AI a question right now to see what its answer is. I'm asking it. I said, guesstimate how much money Pat McAfee, quote unquote, generates. It doesn't actually come to West Virginia, but let's pretend it does. Yeah. As far as how much he promotes West Virginia, how much is that worth on game day and on his podcast? Let's see what it says. We'll come back to that in a second after it generates it. But because I've heard this said all the time. What McAfee generates for West Virginia from just. It's not that necessarily. He's got a stake in West Virginia now, right? Yeah. So I think he has, I don't want to say he has a. What's the word I'm looking for here? Obviously, he's got reason to bring it up, I guess is what I'm saying now. He has to be a little smarter about it for sure. But at the same time, man, I can't deny how big of an impact it is for us. And we just have to hope that it continues that way and down that route, because I'm obviously a big fan of his personally, and I would never, ever go against him. There's hardly anything that can make that happen for me. I'm just that big a fan. So rooting for Pat, hoping he continues to work at ESPN. But even if he doesn't, vested interest. Thank you so much, Chad. Even if he doesn't, I think he'll always give us the mouthpiece, and his millions of fans are going to follow him wherever he goes now. He's in it, absolutely, for life at this point, I would say.
Well, I would say the bigger need or the bigger thing might be ESPN needs him more than he needs ESPN at this point.
That's a great point. Yeah. The stuff with him and Stephen A always kind of doesn't freak me out, but it's like it's just weird, isn't it? How they kind of bump heads. Yeah. They go at each other. Okay. So it says the valuation framework is this: celebrity endorsements in sports are valued at $50,000 to $500,000 per mention for mid-tier celebrities, scaling to $1 million for A-listers like McAfee based on exposure, return on investment. And it says, e.g., for example, a 1 unit Q score bump adds $600K in endorsement potential for college sports. Wow. So you've got adequate. It's crazy how AI is. Ad equivalency, cost similar to some similar airtime, 20 to 50K per game day slot for 30 seconds. That's true. I didn't think about that, which probably could be more like 100K a minute or so. There's obviously the intangibles and the recruiting. It helps the NIL money pay off, path to prospects. It's all this. This isn't me. This is it.
Yeah.
Fan engagement. Assumptions are 150 episodes a year on the podcast, if not more. 12 game day appearances. West Virginia appearances are 20% of that as well. And this is a conservative metric based off of 50% of game day, as well as other offseason things. So here, okay. It's saying here, this is down to the nitty gritty. Pat McAfee show daily episodes, let's say 5 to 10 mentions a year, 450,000 to 800K viewers would be worth about $3 million a year. That seems a lot, but game day, and I don't know if it's saying in every game day or what here. So it could be, may need to further prompt this, but it's saying, it's saying on game day, if he makes mention of West Virginia 3 or 4 times a year, that's worth another $1 million, $2 million. Social media, 500K. And then the intangibles, his pledges to West Virginia, the actual money he's given could be at least $2 to $3 million. Yep. And it's saying he's probably worth at least $8-9 million a year to West Virginia. That's probably not too far off from it. So I just wanted to have fun with that. He's valuable to us, yes. Probably our biggest asset, and that includes Kendrick. So let's go to break. We'll go ahead and just go early to break so we can finish out the entire show with these last 2 topics. The exhibition, what did Troy think about it? I know he wrote an article saying that we're going to be a bad team. We're done.
Pull it up.
I will pull it up. You pull it up. You not a share in here?
Nope.
Okay, I'll do it next.
You pull it up.
Okay. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. When it comes to FanDuel, guys, the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Back with Troy on Mountaineer Moment, the offensive coordinator of the Marshall Thundering Herd. No, in all seriousness, though, let's pull up your article here. Exhibition. Okay. All right, 9 hours ago. Well, that's pretty good timing. I hadn't seen this yet, so I'll let you go over it. Go ahead. You got the good. You got the not so good. So you're saying the good was Harlan Obioha and then Jasper Floyd's pace and control.
Yep.
The Brendan Lawrence versatility.
Yeah.
The not so good were the turnovers. And then Trace and Eagle staff struggling in foreign role or getting used to his new role.
Yep. So to touch on all of those, to me, I think Harlan Obioha was like the guarantee. I think I said it. Like if there was a mismatch heading into it, it was Harlan Obioha against the D2 school in Wheeling, and he looked really, really good. I think
Laurent to some extent too.
Yeah, right. Played 19 minutes, 8 of 9 from the floor, 9 rebounds, did his thing. Laurent, if you weren't familiar, obviously freak athlete, 6'9", 6th man of the year in the conference, last year, and comes over from North Texas. Coming off the bench, yeah, and then he starts here, and it looks like he's going to start alongside Jasper Floyd. Floyd really, small sample size for all these guys because they didn't play 40 minutes. They didn't play close to that. But Floyd, I think, well, we all know he's going to be tremendously important to this team because his backup point guard is Amir Jenkins, a freshman who reclassified, like that whole deal. Jasper Floyd, veteran, senior, and we need him, whether it's going to be on the floor for 36 minutes or 40 minutes, those minutes are going to be huge and impactful. And I think he and other guys have said it on this team. He controls the flow. He controls the pace, and he's really, really good at it. And so there were even moments against Wheeling where it was like a notable thing where like, all right, he chose to slow it down and the team followed suit, or he chose to run the break and the team followed suit. So that was huge. And Lorient's he's just really good, man. I think Mountaineer fans are going to love watching him, what he does on both sides of the floor. And both he and Lorient, you could tell even, I mean, I could, offense and defense, because they've been with Ross Hodge before. They know what's expected of them. And I think their certainly leadership role through November and into throughout the non-conference play is going to be really important for the rest of this team to get on board with that. So that was the good things that I saw. Wasn't the prettiest game. That's why there's some not so good too.
Right. And obviously they turned the ball over 13 times. It felt like more. I agree.
Yeah, sure did.
And then Trace and Eaglestaff, obviously. I don't think – here's my opinion on the Eaglestaff part of this, just my opinion. I just think – oops, sorry. I don't think they were really – first of all, they didn't seem super engaged. That's just a personal note. Second of all, I don't think the goal was for them to – this is more like a walkthrough, in my opinion, than a full game for them. If I was Ross Hodge in that one exhibition game that they had, I would have said, listen, guys, there's probably I wouldn't have said this, but there's probably, let's just say this, there's no way they were going to lose that game, right? And so almost no way. I mean, there could have been, it'd have been 1 in a million. So no reason to go out and get yourself hurt in this game. I don't know. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe they were supposed to go 100%, but I just feel like they didn't seem like they were going full speed to me. And I think that's why it looked like it did.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do play down to your competition as well. It was rough to watch at times. I mean, it really was. So one other point I'll make. You did notice that Eaglestaff and Huff didn't play a lot together. And one started one half, the other started the other half. I think there was a reason for that. They didn't want to show anything with them both on the floor together for anybody to scout, corral. I mean, obviously, I think that was a big reason for that. And I just don't think we saw any semblance of what it's going to be. It's the equivalent of playing Robert Morrison only needing 2 or 3 plays to do it, win the game. It's because your Jimmies and Joes are so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I'll say too with Eaglestaff, and again, it's not this is not, blowing things out of proportion. It was more of like an indication of what to keep an eye on for us as we do enter into the regular season next week. Eaglestaff, a lot of these other guys, Obi Oha, Brendan Lorient, although he's going to be starting instead of coming off the bench. Jasper Floyd running the point guard for
used to be in role players.
Again. Well, they're used to roles that they've been in. And Trace and Eaglestaff has the biggest adjustment to me, even more than Honor Huff.
Ball dominant.
Ball dominant player. You watch his film, you watch his highlights, like it's ISO.
It's ISO, him making plays,
You saw obviously it was a lot of catch and shoot in the scrimmage, and I think I don't think it's going to be an indication of what we're going to see in the regular season, but there will be more catch and shoot than he's used to. I will say that. He was the guy. I said it in that article. I said he was the guy at North Dakota. And I looked it up too. I was like, I wonder just how much that rang true. He had 149 more shot attempts than the second closest player on the team.
I'm looking up the usage rate right now.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. I wonder what their usage rate was like for Honor Huff and for Trey Eaglestaff. Okay. Honor Huff last year played in 33 games, 34 minutes a game. We know he had great averages, 12.7 assists. 17.4 points per game, 12 field goal attempts per game, which isn't a ton. It's a decent amount.
Yeah.
He had almost a 2-to-1 turnover to assist ratio, which is really good. And he's a primary guard at that. Looks like he led the nation, obviously, in threes. We know that 41% from deep. Charlotte averaged 73 possessions per game, with Huff involved in 28% of them. So his estimated usage rate right around 27.5. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know he was that high, honestly. And then looks like Eagle staff, 32 games, 28.5 minutes per game. So quite a bit less than Honor, but he's a bigger guy. Looks like he was taking also 12 field goals a game, 1.5 assists. He also had a 1.8 turnover rate. So, 25% usage rate. So that's extremely high, dude. These are both really high. If you look at comparisons, it looks like there were about a dozen other teams that had players that did that last year. So, among the highest in the country, to your point. So 25% usage rate is this. 1 out of every 4 times down the court, they took the shot. That's simple. So pretty interesting. Last but not least, man, let's get into football talk for a minute. I know we've reacted to the TCU game, or have we?
Yep.
Have I had you on? Thought I did. Did you feel like the hard edge kind of came back last week?
No. I understand the question. I understand the idea of that. Even a few days after, I mean, TCU didn't play particularly well, I didn't think. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say there weren't things I didn't like, because there absolutely was on both sides of the ball, but I would not go as far to say that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I guess if you want to talk about this year's team version of hard edge, maybe, it's definitely closer to what it was. And maybe as good as it's going to get.
Yep.
But I mean, definitely not by the definition.
Right.
I'd be curious to see.
There was certainly a different feel. There was a different feel all game long. Again, we talked about post game. You were in a game in the fourth quarter. That hasn't happened in a long time. Felt good.
I agree, man. So did you see that about Jordan Harrison, by the way? She's on the watch list for the best guard in the country.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Did you happen to see the women's game?
No. Huh.
It wasn't on TV, but at least I couldn't find it.
Yeah,
but they dominated Fairmont State, obviously. Similar score to West Virginia. I think it was 90-something to 50-something. Let me see here. It was 34-17 midway through the second quarter. Trying to find the end of the game here. All right, so 93-43, which is about what you would expect.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking at some of the scores, obviously, so it looks like senior Sydney Woodley had 15 points. Carter McRae played pretty well. Wow, 15 points actually. Sydney Shaw had 14. Riley Mikulski, the transfer, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Not bad. I will be covering the women's team a lot this year because I expect them to take a deep run. And there was actually I got a lot of views on a couple videos for them last year. I had one that did I think 5 or 6K or something like that. Obviously the interview with Coach Kellogg a few months ago was good. I enjoyed that too. And I told him I would cover him. I'm going to. I just couldn't watch the game last night. I don't know where it happened. It wasn't on ESPN Plus. It was weird. But other than that, man, I appreciate you for coming on. Guys, make sure you check out Troy at Mountaineer Moment on YouTube. His channel is continuously growing. It's little by little growing, which is great. That's how it works in the beginning.
Yep.
Guys, make sure you head over there and hit the subscribe button for me. Anybody that's watching now, you could just run over to Mountaineer Moment, which is like you see spelled there. If you type that in on YouTube, you will find it. He's in front of a blue or orange background from what I've seen so far. So it just kind of lit up in the back. It's really cool. So make sure you check him out over there and hit the subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. He's a good buddy. We're going to try to do a little bit more work together since, he's starting to record more and all that. So
heck yeah, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. That's really about it, guys. Nothing else to talk about. Just did another show right before this one. I will be a really busy person tomorrow. Tomorrow is not only is tomorrow payday for me, but I have to go. I have so much to do. I've got to get a haircut. I've got to go grocery shopping. I've got to go get oil changed. I've got to go. What else do I got to do? I mean, I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. I'm taking the computer to get cleaned. I mean, just name it. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. So much tomorrow all in one day because I don't like to be unable to record. So I do everything in one day.
Yep.
So I may only be able to get 1 or 2 videos out tomorrow late like this. So thank you guys. All right. Let me see. What am I supposed to read here? All right, there we go. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys. Make sure you check out Locked On Big 12 for your second listen. Drake Toll, who just did 1 million views this month, which is really hard to do in our profession. Even Josh Pate doesn't always hit that. So it's very hard to do. You have to have really consistent high-end videos to do that, and he's doing that right now. So make sure you check him out over on Locked On Big 12. As if you want to see really good content, Drake Toll does a great job. And we will see you guys on the next one. For Troy, for me, for you. Don't forget to love them Mountaineers and cue them country roads.